Time to talk some Saturday racing at Woodbine. I've got some plays in races 5, 6, 7, and 8 horses I think we can take a second look at. Maybe you want to use them in the early pick 5, which starts in race number 2 and goes races 2 through 6, or in some of your late exotics. However you're playing on Saturday at Woodbine, let's talk about some of the races and some horses who I think you may want to use in your exotics. I also think you may want to use these daily racing form all access past performances. You can get them for free when you sign up for DRF bets. Use the promo code STAKES when you sign up. And right off the bat, they're going to give you 10 free all access cards for DRF and past performances. And then every time you bet $50, you'll get credit for another one. Use the promo code STAKES. Let's jump into Saturday, race number 5. So I was a little surprised, too, looking at the morning line in this one. Not that it's that off or anything, but I do think Since You Left is the horse to beat in here and catch. It just doesn't seem like there's all that much other speed. And she's the type that can really, really look impressive when she's lone speed out there. And I think that's the case in here. She gets the inside draw. She's won 3 of her last 4 really impressively. I don't think we know Wickenheiser. I like Wickenheiser. She's not fast early. Delphia is not fast early. She makes a point. She has some tactical speed. Butter Toast is not fast early. And Fish Mooney, not fast early. So that's your field. Like, there are some horses. Fish Mooney is a solid horse. Absolutely win this race. That wouldn't be a surprise at all. She makes a point. Could sit a really nice trip. Delphia, moving into a new barn. But just from a way the race shapes up, I feel like Since You Left should have major advantage on this field. So maybe a horse, if you're playing the early pick 5, you could build it around, or a single or something like that. If she's anything in the 2-1 above range, I'm going to play her to win also. Since You Left, the one to catch. Moving to race number 6. This is a maiden special weight race going 6.5 furlongs. You have 2-year-old fillies. I thought the number 8 Bracket, very interesting in here. So debuts against a little bit softer, but then she steps up in her second start against maiden special weights. And she's a really good third at 6.5, right behind a horse named YMCA. And we see YMCA all over the running lines for horses in this race because YMCA came back and outfinished a lot of these horses. So on November the 18th, Bracket just gets caught behind a wire-to-wire winner, Logistics, wins that race going wire-to-wire. And it was just a bad trip having to back off of a horse in a race where you're not getting that type of pace. It was just an unlucky trip for Bracket. Tried to angle wide, got into it, but the winner was a gate-to-wire winner. And when you watch the race, it actually looks better visually than it does on paper because nobody was able to make up a whole lot of ground, and Logistics wins that race super easy by almost 4 lengths. Bracket, definitely capable of bouncing back to that effort on October the 14th, which would put her in the mix in here, and she's 8-1. I think if she's anything 5+, that's very fair. Let's move to the 7th race. 5.5 furlongs on the synthetic. If you're playing multi-exotics, I would throw the 1 in. She's not my top pick because I'm concerned about the draw and all the other speed in this race, and she may be a horse who has to take a lot of pressure down inside because I do think there's a good amount of speed. But who I like in here is the number 2, Old Blondie. She comes out of a race where she was third. She was inside just behind the leaders, and she kept to the inside. And her rival in here, Yamar, took the spot that Old Blondie was going for. And she was not going to win that race, but she might have been closer that day. She can pass horses, Old Blondie, but she has some speed. comes off of a sneaky trip last time out. She's going to put 2 starts together after having a few months off after each of her last few races. I think she fits very well in here. Old Blondie. Look at the back-to-back races in May and June earlier this year. They were very good. So she has a ceiling she can get back to. 10-1 on the morning line. Anything over 6 feels fair. And then race number 8 is the stakes race, where I feel like Fashionably Fab is going to be a very short price. But if you're trying to bet this race and play against Fashionably Fab, let's talk about the number 5, Striga, who got beat by Fashionably Fab last time out. But let's watch the beginning of that race, where Striga is the number 11 in the race we're watching. And she was forwardly placed, but she's wide. And look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses to her inside, all wanting to go to the lead. So what is she supposed to do? She tries to find a way, but she's pushed way out into the first turn. And she has to settle in like 6th or so. She's about 3 lengths off. But she's so wide in this race. Look at where Fashionably Fab is. 2nd, just off the lead. Perfect trip. While Striga gets pushed way out into the middle of the track going into the turn. 3, now 4 deep down the back side here. This is a trip that just catches up with Striga. So like at this point of the race, now she's about all in. Remember, she was coming off of a few month break as well. So I think you could just eliminate this race. Now you get a small field of 5. The 4, My Girl Sky, is not fast. The 3, Talk to You Later, is not fast. And the 1, Tito's Calling, is not fast. It's going to be between the 2 and the 5 for who wants the lead, who wants to be forwardly placed. And I think Striga is going to get aggressive here in this smaller field, not going to have to deal with that type of a wide trip or that type of traffic. Let's use our speed. Let's get close to the lead. If Fashionably Fab wants to go, we can sit just off. Striga, 4-1 on the morning line. Let's look at Saturday at Woodbine. Only one more week remains after this one at Woodbine. We'll be here to give you selections and analysis every racing day that remains at Woodbine. Good luck playing the races over there this weekend. And remember that early pick 5 on Saturday starts in race 2, bumped up to $100,000 guarantee in the pick 5.